Hey guys, what is up and welcome to another League of Legends video. In this one, I will be doing a commentary over my #1 tip for you guys to get better at League of Legends and to climb that ELO ladder. Especially with Season 4 around the corner and the ELO brackets resetting, I'm sure many of you are getting ready. Before I dive into the tip, I quickly want to say that I will be starting to make champion guides again, and I want to ask you guys to write in the comments below who you want to see first. Do you want to see a Zed guide or a Yasuo guide? So my tip to you guys that I'm going to be discussing throughout this video is: don't be stubborn. Now you guys might be wondering what kind of shitty tip is that, but trust me, this is probably the best tip that you can take into League of Legends and especially into Season 4 and see a definite improvement in your gameplay. So stubbornness is a common trait among gamers, especially League of Legends gamers, to which they feel as though they are the best and have no room to improve, and this happens everywhere. For instance, in my educational videos, there's a lot of people that kind of flame the comment section and just say I'm really bad at the game because I don't do the exact specific build that they would have done, and you know, things like that. Or if you look at the chat at pro streamers on Twitch, you can see that there's a lot of people constantly and consistently criticizing the player that's playing, especially when it's someone that's obviously a very good player, professional player, and someone who's diamond or even challenger. So clearly they are very good at this game and they know what they're doing. And what makes matters worse is that the people that are always criticizing are the people that are probably stuck in the low ELO, constantly complaining why they can't get out. So this brings me to my next point, and this is also backed up by Walter because he mentioned it on his stream a few days ago. This applies mainly to the lower ELO brackets. I mean, it does apply all around, but mainly to lower ELO, including bronze, silver, and even gold. People always complain and rage at others and say that everyone else sucks, they're pretty much god at this game, and that just because of the 4 other people on their team that are always just really bad, their magnificent skill is being brought down, which I'm sure we can all agree on is just simply not true. So you don't want to rage at your team. I mean, I know it can be hard at times. There are games where, you know, yourself or other people just have that, you know, it's just a bad game. It happens to every single person, no matter how bad or good you are at this game. It does happen sometimes. But raging at that person on your team obviously won't make them play any better. If anything, it'll just make them play even worse if anything. So you don't want to rage at them and be stubborn. You just want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And here's my main point for you guys that applies to the fact of just not being stubborn. You need to accept that there are people better than you. For instance, I accept that someone like Best Riven and Nay is better than me at Riven. I accept that someone like Wild Turtle is better than me at ADC. I accept that someone like Bjergsen is a better mid laner than me. So, what do? If I want to learn Riven, if I want to learn how to be a better ADC with someone, if I want to learn just better mid lane mechanics, just to improve on whatever I already know, I watch someone that I admit is better than me. I'm not going to be stubborn about it. I'm not going to be like, yeah, Bjergsen's bad, you know, like he sucks, I'm not going to watch him. He's clearly better than me. He's obviously done a lot better than I have at this game in terms of skill. He's obviously more successful in terms of skill. So I'm going to accept the fact that he's better. I'm going to watch him and I'm going to learn from him. And another main thing that I somewhat mentioned at the beginning of this video, a lot of people seem to criticize builds, decisions of high ELO players or professional players that are in LCS, or even the amateur teams that are like probably all challenger or their team is challenger. So clearly, I mean, they have the stats to prove it that they are good players, that they do know what they're doing. They're not just pulling shit out of their ass. So the point here that I'm trying to make is that instead of criticizing every single small thing that someone like a, you know, Bjergsen or Wild Turtle would do, or someone like maybe Robert X Lee or even Reginald or anyone of the sort, instead of just being like, yeah, you know, they're bad. I mean, I wouldn't have done that. I would have built this and I would have won this skill order. So, you know, since I would have done that and he didn't do that, that obviously makes him really bad. If that's the way you look at the game and that's the way you look at streamers and even educational videos such as for mine, for instance, or anyone else like Stonewall or even Spazzy or something of the sort, then you're not going to progress really far at this game. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. So again, instead of criticizing, you want to be like, okay, so he got something that I probably wouldn't have gotten, or something that I just completely didn't even think about, or he maxed another skill as opposed to the one I always max first, or something of the sort, or oh, you know, I don't know, maybe he went this kind of mastery page, or these kind of runes, or you know, something of the sort, something that's obviously different from the way you play. You want to be like, I wonder why, and you want to think about it. You want to try understanding that thought process. You want to be like, I wonder why this works. I wonder why this player, who's obviously high ELO and who's obviously successful at this game, based off of their skill, chose this path or went for these skills or went for these masteries or this build or whatever the case may be. And maybe off of this you get a better idea of how the champion is supposed to be played. You can completely change your playstyle around it. For instance, here's a really good example. For Yasuo, I didn't just completely make this build up myself. I actually was thinking of doing something else, but I decided to go on the Pro Builds website and I looked up Korean players. I'm like, alright, Koreans are obviously very good at this game. They're obviously highly respected. The Korean Team SKT1 won the Worlds recently, so they're obviously gotta be good players over there in Korea, right? And I've seen so many cool highlights and just clips of Korean players doing really crazy things, so I respect them and I admit that they're very, very good players. So I went on Pro Builds and I looked at what the Koreans were building on Yasuo, and I saw that they built Trinity Force. I'm like, oh, okay, well I guess that kind of makes sense. Sheen is really good on Yasuo. He uses a lot of skills which work really well with Sheen, and plus it helps a bit on his E since it has AP scaling. It has a Zeal, which of course is just huge on Yasuo, and plus a Phage. I mean, you can never go wrong with the Phage on a champion. And I'm like, you know what, this actually makes sense. And then I saw he gets Hydra, and I'm like, okay, well that makes sense too. Because I can go there in the fight, I can E, I can Q, I can spin, I can use my Hydra, and there's a huge damage. And of course the first item is Static Shiv, which everyone is getting because the Static Shiv is just quite obviously really good on Yasuo. But the point of the matter is that I don't consider myself some godly player. I know that I'm not the best at this game. I know I can improve. I know there's players that are better than me, and I just accept that fact because it actually improves my gameplay. As you can see, I went from being honestly quite a terrible Yasuo to being under a pretty damn good Yasuo. And I have to give props to just the build order that I found. That definitely helped quite a bit for me to try and improve my skills. And then on top of that, obviously I had some self-learning, but in general, the build order is huge and that really helped me. So you really need to learn to put egos aside. You can't have a huge ego and just think you're the best at this game and that there's no one better than you. You can't rage at your team in silver, bronze, gold, platinum, diamond. It doesn't matter what ELO you are. You can't always rage at your team. I mean, obviously it's really hard at times, but you need to try to resist. And if you truly want to improve, truly you want to get higher ELO, and you just completely blame your team every single time that you're stuck in bronze or silver or whatever the case may be, you just need to stop doing that and just accept that there's people that are better than you and go learn from them. I mean, it's all about learning. It's all about looking at what people who probably have a lot more time than you do playing this game, or people that just happen to be just maybe better at games in general, what do they do to make themselves better at this game? And I mean, that's pretty much what I want to tell you guys. That's the #1 tip. Don't be stubborn, accept there's people better than you and learn from them. Try to understand why a certain person builds what they do and just incorporate it into your own strategy. And from this, I guarantee you, if you stop being stubborn, if you just accept that there's people better than you and just learn from them, you will get better at this game. So with all of that being said, I want to wish all of you good luck in Season 4 that is coming up, and also happy holidays. Peace, guys.